and foremost, we like to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High and His precious Son, Jesus the Christ. Mhm.
All
And
praises.
All
all praise
praises.
to that. So yes, so the truth. This is what we're gonna get into today is the Sabbath. What does the Sabbath mean, and how do we keep it? All right. So the Sabbath is the day to worship the Most High, right? And the society we live in, they have changed the Sabbath to Sunday. So our people that are lost and they go to church on Sunday and they believe that they're doing the service of the Lord, right?
Huh.
But when we get into it, we're really not. So that's our job, is to teach our people the right way of what the scriptures are saying. All right, so let's go to the beginning. Let's go to Genesis, chapter 2. We're going to start at chapter 2, and we're going to start at verse 1.
Here we go. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 1. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And
Okay,
on
so
the seventh,
God, brother, sorry.
verse 2. And on the seventh day, God ended his work, which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work, which he had made.
All right,
And
so we see on the seventh day of all his creation, he ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work that he had made. So now we going into a day of rest. Continue.
and God blessed the seventh day and
So
sanctified it.
he blessed it and he separated it. He sanctified it. He made it separate from all days, right? Continue.
Because that in it he had rested from all his work, which God created and made.
Okay, so right there. So brother Isaac, you doing the technical part?
Yeah, I got it. I got it going.
Uh, yeah, look up that word sanctified, just so you know we clear on these words. These ain't everyday words, but we need to know, you know what I'm saying, what they mean.
Sanctified. It says here, made holy.
Uh-huh.
That's pretty much it. Made holy.
Okay. So, like I said, he separated that day from all of the days. This is the holy day. So there's no confusion. And he blessed the seventh day and he made it holy, sanctified it. All right. So now it's our job to know what day is the seventh day, right? So let's go over to, let's get a little bit more about the Sabbath. Let's go to Exodus 20 and start at verse 8.
It is Exodus chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Okay, so remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. We just started Genesis. He sanctified it, he made it holy. So we have to keep it holy. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Now we about to find out what day the Sabbath falls on. All right, God, continue on verse 9.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the
Okay,
seventh,
so 6 days we should labor and do all our work. But the what?
but the seventh day of the is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son nor thy daughter, thy manservant nor thy maidservant. nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
Okay, so now we know we getting the build up, we getting the clues. So 6 days shall we work, and on the seventh we do no work. So here's the rules to the Sabbath. This the seventh day, there's no work that being done. All right. This is part of keeping it holy. All right. So this is the reason why. Continue on verse 11.
For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the seventh. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
Yeah, see, so that's why we have to keep the Sabbath day. Because the Lord our God, he did all his work in 6 days and then he rested. All right. So and we know through reading the searching the scriptures that it's not a literal 6 days that we're dealing with the Lord. They said the scriptures say know that one day is like 1,000 years with the Lord. Okay. So I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea and think that God did all this in our average day of 24 hours, because now he didn't. Now he gave us 6 days to work and do all that we needed to do. And on the seventh day, we need to rest. So we know that the week starts on Sunday, is the first day of the week, right?
Con.
Everybody agree with that? All right. So we just count 7 days from Sunday where we land on. We land on Saturday. All right.
That's
So
right.
so Saturday is the day of rest. This is the day of the Lord. This is the holy day. This is the day that the Lord sanctified, set apart, and made holy. All right. So let's go over to Exodus 23 and 12.
The
And
book
notice
of
it's gonna
Exodus.
notice it's gonna repeat these scriptures that I'm pulling is gonna repeat the Sabbath. All right. And it's gonna give you more insight on what we need to be doing on the Sabbath day. All right, go ahead.
The book of Exodus, chapter 23 and verse 12. 6 days thou shalt do thy work, and on the seventh day thou shalt rest, that thine ox and thy ass may rest, and the son of thy handmaid and the stranger may be refreshed.
Okay. So all right, hey, saying again, 6 days shall thou do thy work, and on the seventh day thou shalt rest. That means if we have, back then we had land, so we don't have oxens and ass anymore. But if we did, those things need to rest. So well, we could put that in today's what we have today going on that gets us around from here to there. So you got a car, then you should be not driving in your car. You should be letting your car rest. Um, you shouldn't be going to work. You shouldn't be turning on your stove, things of that nature. All right, and then we're gonna get into that as the class goes on. Um, so from there, get me Ezekiel 20 and 11. Start at 11. So let me get there first, though. Make sure. Ezekiel 20 and 11. And this is important. This is for our people. This wasn't given to the whole world to celebrate. Ezekiel 20 and 11. See. Yeah, there you go. Start there.
Ready? The book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 11. And I gave them my statutes and showed them my judgments.
Who's the
which
them?
if
Who's the them right there?
Israelites, brother.
Okay, no, I'm just asking the question. Anybody can answer. So we
Um,
know, you know what I'm saying? We got to stick on the topic. So he gave them, the them is talking about the Israelites. All right, continue.
and I gave them my statutes, and I showed them my judgments, which if a man do, he shall even live in them. Moreover, also I gave them my Sabbaths to be a sign between me and them, that they might know that I am the Lord that sanctified them.
Okay, so we see right here was, the Sabbath is a sign between the Lord and us. This is a sign. So this is another reason why we need to keep it. It says, I gave them my Sabbaths to be a sign between me and them, and they might know that I am the Lord that sanctified them. So if the Sabbath is sanctified, it means holy. Then he says right here, I am the Lord that sanctified them. So he made us holy. So this is a sign. This day is a sign between the Most High and with us. Continue on.
But the house of Israel rebelled against me in the wilderness.
hmm
They walked not in my statutes, and they despised my judgments.
And this is why we in the situation and how we live in society, because our forefathers broke this covenant with the Most High. So when the Most High took our people out of Egypt and led them into the wilderness, he gave them, the first thing he gave them was the Sabbath, and with also other laws. But the first thing he ever gave to our forefathers was the Sabbath. And what do? They broke it. They polluted the Sabbath. Right. So continue on.
Which if a man do, he shall even live in them. And my Sabbath they greatly polluted. Then I said I would pour out my fire, Slakia, my fury upon them in the wilderness to consume them.
All right. So right here he's saying, you guys broke my commandments, you broke my statutes, my judgments, you polluted my Sabbath, and he said I would pour out my fury upon them in the wilderness, consume them, and which he did. Continue to 14.
But I wrought for my name's sake, that it should not be polluted before the heathen, in whose sight I brought them out.
So this is why the Most High did not destroy our forefathers completely off the earth for His name's sake. So the reason why Israel's still around today is for the Lord's name's sake, because we done did wickedly and polluted His Sabbath, broke His covenants, didn't do His judgments. So the only reason, see, this is the beginning of the grace here, for His name's sake, is why we're still here today. All right. So from there, stay in the same book and get me. I mean, go to back to Exodus. Sorry, go back to Exodus chapter 31 and start at 13. You got it.
Oh man, I was muted. The book of Exodus, chapter 31, and verse 13. Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, verily my Sabbaths ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you.
Stop right there. So speak to who? Go read that again.
Speak though, speak thou also unto the children of Israel,
No, no, the children of the world.
the children of Israel,
Okay, keep going.
saying, Verily my Sabbaths ye shall keep,
Hmm.
for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am the Lord that doeth sanctify you.
So right there we see he's saying this is to be kept throughout your generations, house of Israel, children of Israel. So and then again, it's a sign. So we need to be keeping this. So we are the descendants of the diaspora of the slave trade. That makes us the descendants of the ancient Israelites, which makes us Israelites, not black, Hispanic, Native Americans. But biblically, our name we are the Israelites. So this applies to us. Continue on to 14.
Ye shall keep the Sabbath therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defiled it shall surely be put to death.
No, right here. So there's a judgment for not keeping the Sabbath. Is what happened to our forefathers in the wilderness. Uh, Obviously, we're not being put to death at this point, so that's why it makes it easier for people to break it because it's not an automatic judgment. But you are gonna have to answer for yourself when that day comes, and you can't make any excuses. Because right here we see back then they were being put to death if they defiled the Sabbath. Okay, continue. For whosoever.
For whosoever do any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from amongst his people.
That means you will be put to death. All right, continue.
6 days may work be done, but in the seventh is the Sabbath of rest, holy to the Lord. Whosoever do any work in the Sabbath day, he should surely be put to death.
See, and that was see that's the difference between back then and now. Back then they get automatic judgment. You know what I'm saying? They would bring you up on charges. Oh, so and so broke the Sabbath, so you would have to go before the judges, and they will put you to death. We don't have our judges set up in this current kingdom right here, but let's believe in the kingdom of heaven, we'll be keeping this law. We should be keeping this law now because it says for a perpetual covenant. But people think they're getting away with breaking it. But like I said, once we get into that place where we're being judged, you're gonna be brought up on charges. Oh, you broke the Sabbath. Oh, so now you know. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't know, you didn't know. But now you know. So you can't when the judgment day comes, you can't say, "Oh Lord, I didn't know." No, you're gonna be put to death. So go ahead, continue.
Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath.
The children of who?
The children of Israel.
No, no, the children of the world. Because we all came from Adam. We're all people of God.
Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations
For
for
what?
for a perpetual covenant.
Okay, perpetual covenant. Brother Isaac, look up that word perpetual. So you see him right here. He's saying this is for the children of Israel. They shall keep the Sabbath to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations for a perpetual covenant. I
Perpetual,
don't.
continuing, or enduring forever.
Okay, see, so that thing that right there is forever, brothers and sisters, forever. So us being the descendants that they hid this information from us that we are the children of God because just because everybody came from Adam does not make them children of God. Uh, we there's things that we must keep. This is our culture. This isn't a religion. You know, this is our culture. This is the way of life that our ancestors were supposed to be living by in order to receive the blessings from the Most High. It has nothing to do with religion. We've been stripped of our culture, identity, and history. So these are the keys to getting our history and our culture back. We must keep the Sabbath. It's for continual. That means forever. All right. Continue on to 17. Brother, you muted
It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever.
forever.
For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed.
Right there. So think of it like that. Brothers and sisters, we have hard weeks ahead of us, right? So what's wrong with taking a rest and getting refreshed? See, the Most High, it's not a like he didn't just say it because, oh, I want you just to do what I said. And sometimes your parents be like, because I said so. They don't really give you the explanation. But see, the Most High, he deals differently with us. He gives us a command and then he explains why and the benefit. The benefit of keeping the Sabbath is that we get to be refreshed, so we don't run ourselves down to the ground. You know what I'm saying? So we can get away from the everyday hustle and bustle, the struggle. You know what I mean? So this is good for us, and the way is that we can rest and be refreshed. I hope you guys get that. All right. So let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 5 and start at verse 12. I'm trying to get a little bit more into it.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 5 and verse 12. Keep the Sabbath day to sanctify it, as the Lord thy God hath commanded thee.
See, it's a commandment. So you know, you ask people, oh, do you keep God's laws? Oh, I keep the Ten Commandments. Oh, you keep the Sabbath day? Oh no, I go to church on Sunday. Then how are you serving God? How are you keeping the commandment? God commanded us to rest on the seventh day, not on the first day of the week. So, you can trip people up. They claiming that they know God and they have a personal relationship with them and they keep the commandments. This isn't in the Ten Commandments, right? So uh continue on.
6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work.
So you getting it, right? It's the Most High is repetitive. He keeps saying, this is how you keep the Sabbath. 6 days shall thou work. It's repeated in many verses. Um, continue.
But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God, in which thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy ox, nor thine ass, nor any of thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is in within Slakia, that is within the gates, and that thy manservant and thy maidservant may rest as well as thou.
Continue.
And remember that thou was a servant in the land of Egypt, and that the Lord thy God brought thee out of thence through a mighty hand and by a stretched out arm. Therefore, the Lord thy God commanded thee to keep the Sabbath day.
Well, there's another reason why, because he brought us out of bondage in Egypt. So this is why, if we claim in that we love God or we know God, we have to keep His commandments. So His commandment tells us that we need to keep the Sabbath day holy. Also, keep it lawful. All right. Go to Leviticus 23:3 real quick.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 23 and verse 3. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh
Again,
day,
mhm,
but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest. In holy convocation,
okay,
ye
right there. So it says, 6 days shall work be done. Again, we've been over this one, two, three, well, five scriptures now. It's telling us the same thing. 6 days work shall be done, but on the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. Brother Isaac, look up that. That's not an everyday word that we use, so let's look that up. This is part of learning. And this is stuff they don't go over with you in the Christian church. So let's look at that word convocation.
Okay, it says convocation. It's a noun. A group of people gather in answer to a summons. A state of being convoked. And it's pretty much just a formal
So the
assembly.
Yep, the formal assembly. So not only do we need to keep the Sabbath day, but we also need to congregate. We need to get together, just like they do on. So what the world has done is changed the Sabbath to Sunday, and they have all the tenants. So they convocating, they getting together, they're worshiping the Most High, but it's just on the wrong day. So continue right there from convocation.
ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings.
Okay, so keep going to 4. I mean,
These are
hold on 1 second, brother. Sorry. All right. Yeah, read 4 for me.
these are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons.
All right. So, right there, this is a part of these uh holy convocations, these feast days. So this is our one of our high holy days. If you ask me personally, this is the holiest of holy days. All right. So that's just me talking as a man. There's no scripture for that, but just what I believe. Um,
Con.
go to Amos. Go to Amos 8 and 5. Let me get there with you.
The book of Amos, chapter 8 and verse 5, saying, when will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn, and the Sabbath, that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small, and the shekel great, and forcefully the balances of by defeat.
So this is how they were breaking the Sabbath, right? So I was saying 5. They were like, when is this day gonna be over? When this new moon? When's this Sabbath gonna be over so we could buy and sell? because there's no buying and selling on the Sabbath. So they're saying, when will the new moon be gone? S- So we may sell corn in the Sabbath, that we may set forth wheat. So they weren't able to you weren't able to do anything on the Sabbath day. You weren't able to go plant anything. You weren't able to go harvest anything on the Sabbath, because that's part of working. They were out there in the fields harvesting and planting 6 days, but on the seventh day they weren't allowed. So our people were so wicked. They were like, when is this day gonna be over? So so they can go back to buying and selling, so they could sell corn and the Sabbath, so they could do their wheat and make the ephod small and the shekel great. Meaning they were, not only were they breaking the Sabbath, but on a continual basis making the they were selling stuff at a dishonest weight. So basically, the ephod, they were making it small. Instead of giving you a whole ephod, they weren't giving you the just balance. See, and it says falsifying their balances by deceit. So this is what was going on a regular basis. Let me see if I'm gonna go down and go on that. So you get it. So there's no buying, no selling on the Sabbath, also, right? So go to Nehemiah. See Nehemiah. Uh, Nehemiah chapter 10 and 31. Brother, you with me? Brother.
Oh man, I did it twice. I muted and I Shalakia. The
Just,
book
just leave yourself unmuted, bro.
I
Hold
can't
on.
because
Hold on, background.
the devil's in,
That's why you have push to talk. Just leave the mic unmuted and have the push to talk.
Alright.
they at work today though. They out there. They out there.
Hold on.
Nehemiah chapter 10 and verse 31. And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell, that we may not buy it of them on the Sabbath or on the holy day, and that we would leave the seventh day, the seventh year, and the exaction of every debt.
All right, read that again, brother.
Nehemiah chapter 10 and verse 31. And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell, that we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath or on the holy day, and that we will leave the seventh year and the exaction of every debt.
All right, so we seeing here the people of the land were coming to try to sell stuff to us on the Sabbath day. Uh, Hold on one second, brother. Sabbath day. And if any people of the land bring in wares or any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell, that we would not buy of them on the Sabbath day or on the holy days, and that we would leave the seventh year and exact for. Okay, so right here, so it's telling you that we're not supposed to buy or sell on the Sabbath day. right? Or any other high holy day. So we treat any other high holy day, the first day of it, as a Sabbath, not buying and not selling. So we get all our stuff prepared the night before, and we'll get into that. Go to Isaiah 58 and 13.
He said Isaiah,
Isaiah 58 and 13.
the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 58 and 13. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord honorable, and shalt honor him, not doing thy own ways, nor finding thy own pleasures, nor speaking thy own words.
Right. So what's one day to give up for the Lord? He's saying if we turn away our foot from the Sabbath, from doing our pleasure on his holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord honorable, and shall honor him, not doing our own ways. So this is honoring the Most High by not doing our own ways, nor finding our own pleasures, nor speaking our own words. What's a day to give up for the Lord that gave us all this, you know, all these blessings? These blessings are ours. It's just up to if we want them or not. He set before us life and death, so we got to choose life, and we choose life. That means the commandments. So this is another way of honoring the Most High, is keeping the Sabbath day holy by not buying, not selling, not cooking, not cleaning, and worshiping Him on the day that we're supposed to. I know all of us in here probably been to church on Sunday and thought we were going into the house of the Lord, and we was showing honor and respect and all that, but we really wasn't. They just in there to take your money. Um, we'll get into
Yeah,
that.
they take your money and then at the end of the year they send you a tax form.
Right, right, right. Which again has nothing to do with the Most High. So they said they're teaching people to defile His holy day. All right, from there, give me Mark 2 and 27. And another thing they don't do is give you scripture. I've given you nothing but scripture. You go to church, they give you a scripture or two at the most, and they just talk and talk and talk for 2 or 3 hours. I'm giving you straight up Bible. So, um, Mark 2 and 27.
The book of St. Mark, chapter 2, and verse 27. And he said unto them, the Sabbath was made for man, and not the man for the Sabbath.
So right there. So again, we're seeing the Sabbath was made for man. Why? So we can rest. Simple. So we can be at our top on top of our game. So we could be rested, refreshed, and not run down. So it happens when we keep running our body down, we get more susceptible to diseases and things like that in that nature. So it's important for you to rest your body. So the Most High gave us a whole 24 hours to rest and get to know Him and study His Word. Because we busy during the week, so we running around. We got school, we got work, we got to pick up kids, we got to deal with kids. We got to deal with our significant others. So there's no rest in that. You don't get no time to wind down and just enjoy the fruits of your labor or everything you work for. You don't get to, when you really think about it. When do you got time to really enjoy what you've gotten? If you don't take a day to smell the roses per se. You know what I mean? So
Con.
we'll be doing ourselves we doing ourselves a disservice when we don't rest our bodies. Our bodies weren't made to keep going and going and going and going. So the Lord, he made us, so he knows, hey, they're gonna need to be refreshed. They're gonna need a day of rest. So like I says, the Sabbath was made for the man, not the man for the Sabbath. So he didn't create us to keep a Sabbath. He made the Sabbath so we could rest. All right. Uh, and go ahead. Go to 28. Read that again. Start at 27. And read all the way to 28.
Con. The book of St. Mark, chapter 20, Slakia, chapter 2, and verse 27 and 28. And he said unto them, the Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath. Therefore, the Son of Man is Lord also of the Sabbath.
Right there. So Jesus is Lord also of the Sabbath. So we serving the Most High, and we serving our Lord Jesus Christ, who is the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. All right. So from there,
That's right.
give me Matthew 12 and start at verse 8.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 12, and verse 8. For the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath day.
Do me a favor. Let me see. Okay, continue.
When he was departed thence, he went into the synagogue, and behold, there was a man which had his hand withered, and they asked him, saying, is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath day?
So look at they're asking the Lord of the Sabbath. So we just read that. So they're gonna have the nerve to ask the Lord of the Sabbath if it's lawful to heal on the Sabbath day. All right, continue. So they asked them this. So they what? They
That
might what?
they may accuse him.
Right. Continue.
And behold, Shlakia,
No.
and he said unto them, what man shall there be among you that shall have one sheep, and if one Shlakia, and if it fall into a pit on the Sabbath day, will he not lay hold on it?
Right. So basically saying, since we saying no working, so people might take that literal, like, oh, if your man, you say your wife got a flat tire, and you say, oh, I can't fix it because it's the Sabbath day. Does that make any sense? Are we working? Are we getting any kind of monetary gain off of fixing our wife's tire on the Sabbath day? It's the same thing here. He's saying if you had a sheep, or let me see what it exactly says here. Yeah, if you had a sheep and it fell into a pit on the Sabbath day, were we supposed to leave it there? So they're trying to jam Christ up and trying to accuse him of breaking the Sabbath. If you get what I'm trying to say, it's lawful for us to help our neighbor if we see they need help on the Sabbath day. It's unlawful to work, therefore we getting gain from working. There's a difference there. So don't let anybody get confused. Like some people take it to the extreme. Oh, I can't do anything today. So you know, basically, if your brother is in need, they're gonna tell you, no, I can't help you because it's the Sabbath. That's not what it's about.
It must be nice.
Right. So basically an excuse. Continue. On to 11.
11. And he
Oh,
said unto them,
yeah.
I will start from the top. And he said unto them, what man shall there be among you that shall have one sheep? And if it fall into a pit on the Sabbath day, will he lay hold on it and lift it out?
God, continue.
How much then is a man better than a sheep? Wherefore it is lawful to do well
Yeah,
on the Sabbath days.
right there, right there. So, brothers and sisters, let's be mindful. Some people take it to the extreme. Oh, you doing this, so you're not keeping the Sabbath. But he says it's lawful to do well on the Sabbath day. It's lawful to help your neighbor out on the Sabbath day. What is against the Sabbath is doing anything for monetary gain or of your own pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
But if you're doing charity, go
Yeah,
for it.
charity, helping, like it says, if you see your brother or sister, uh, in this case, it was a sheep. He's comparing us to sheep. Are we better than sheep? Of course we are. So just be mindful when people try to judge you for keeping the Sabbath and they don't know what they're talking about. And they're like, "Oh, you're breaking the Sabbath because you're doing X, Y, Z." No, it's lawful to do well on the Sabbath. All right. So from there, let's go to Acts 15 and 21.
Book of Acts, chapter 15 and verse 21. For Moses of old time have in every city them that preach him, being read in the synagogues every Sabbath day.
All right. So what they were doing on the Sabbath day is they were being preached the law of God in the synagogues every Sabbath day. Not every Sunday, every what?
Sabbath day, which is the seventh
Which
day.
is what? And which is what in the modern times? What's the name of that day?
Well, Friday sundown to Saturday sundown.
You're right, Con. So we seeing right here, even the apostles knew that the Sabbath wasn't on Sunday. So they were going to get the law preached to them in the church or in the synagogue every Sabbath day. I said the church, but we are the church. In the synagogue, they were going to hear the law of the Most High. So we go around question time. Let's see who's in here. All right, brother Isaac, we're probably gonna start with you. What is the purpose of keeping the Sabbath?
Well, for one, it's a holy um, convocation, and two, it helps us refresh and keep rested for all the other days we worked.
Okay. So, brother Asher, what? When was the first Sabbath, brother Asher?
When the sun went down on day 6,
Con. Um, Sister Naomi, what are the rules to the Sabbath day?
You can't you can't use fire or cook or clean.
Hmm.
And you can't work on that day.
All right. Okay. All right. All right. And then when is the Sabbath? When's the Sabbath start?
Um, on from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown.
Correct. Correct. All right.
Right.
All praises. Brother Isaac. Uh, Where in the law can I find uh any rules about the Sabbath?
Uh, Exodus. I mean, the Exodus 20 talks about it. Exodus 23.
Okay, okay. Um, let's see. When did our when was the Sabbath first broken?
Did we read that?
Yeah.
But
Uh,
I don't know. I think it's Amos 8 and 5 when they were.
right, 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 right.
No, no, I mean that's right, but that wasn't the first time. The first time had to be what? When we came out of Egypt, right? Yeah,
The
remember
wilderness. That's right.
in the
They were in the
wilderness.
wilderness. Khan.
Right, right. So in the wilderness. So um so this goes into God's laws not being grievous. Okay, so I asked the question. So keeping what would be not grievous or what would be beneficial? I think the brother already answered, but I'm gonna ask it again. What would be um what would be not grievous about keeping the Sabbath?
Well, it's not
Besides the
grievous
fact
because
that it's Friday, everybody just got paid, they want to turn up.
well,
Will
I'd
be
say
not grievous
if it was it's not grievous
about
because
keeping the Sabbath.
it's helping us rest. So it would be grievous if he was just like, nah, you gotta work all the time, like every day. You gotta keep pushing, 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 because it's not how humans were designed.
Anybody?
Wait, did you hear me?
A question for the sister Naomi. Is your mother's name Brenda?
Yeah.
I think I went to school with her. So nobody wants to take a shot at the question?
Is it this? My Discord like lagged me out real quick. Is it the same question? Like, what keeps it not like why isn't it grievous?
Yeah, what would be what will make it not grievous besides the fact that, like I said, this Friday, people just got paid, they want to go out, they want to hit the town up, and what would be a good reason to stay your ass at home?
Because you get to rest. You have to rest that day, and he's
Right.
able.
And then the other reason,
It's a sacred day,
Yeah,
a promised from the
and yeah, there's all right answers, but I'm looking for that one answer. Why
to
we need
to,
to
pr-
stay our ass at home? I should
to
have phrased
pray.
it like,
Cut.
nope, because the Most High said so.
that's what he commands.
He commanded. Now all those answers are right. It's just that I was looking for that specific answer.
Fine. Something happened with my internet.
So so eventually we should be gathering together on this day. All believers should be gathering together on this day. They should be laying up food from last night and getting together and convocating. That's a commandment too, to gather ourselves together.
Con.
Find that for me, brother Asher. Gather yourselves together.
Was that which one?
Gather yourselves together.
Con.
Gotcha. Hey, my internet just really turned off. Can't believe it. Give me 1 second. I got you. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
That is
I think it's in Nehemiah, right?
I have it here.
I think it's Sepa
Zephaniah 3
two and
and
one,
2 and
two
1.
one, 2, 1, and 3. Yeah, 1 to 3.
Read that for me.
I keep going on my computer and it's not even connected. So I said 2, 1 to 3.
Yeah.
The book of Zephaniah,
Zephaniah.
Zephaniah, chapter
Yeah.
2, verse 1 through 3. Gather yourselves together. Yeah, gather together, or nation not desired.
Mm.
Before the, that's right.
Okay. Okay. Continue.
Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass, as the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you.
Mm-hmm.
Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment. Seek righteousness, seek meekness. It may be ye shall be
Yeah.
hid in the day of the Lord's anger.
Okay. So why do you think it says gather yourselves together?
Because we're stronger as a unit.
Right. So it's even more proof that it's not just a personal relationship.
It's
You
the
know,
nation.
it's a nation. It's a nation thing. And
He
we
wants us
are,
all.
yeah,
If
we
you
are
notice in the
every
beginning, right? He says, "Gather yourselves," but he says, "O nation." He didn't say
mhm,
you, no, or he didn't say, "Oh, individual, not desired." He said, "Oh, oh, nation, undesired."
right, not undesired. So we know that we're the ones that are not desired in society, right? Is that that's a fair statement to make? That through society we're the least that anybody wants to be around, that anybody wants to do business with. You see, so it's clearly talking to us.
Con.
Don't get no clearer than that unless it starts naming names.
Good.
You know what I'm saying? So that's that's another reason why we should get together on the Sabbath day. So it's commanded for one. For two, it's like a think of a think of your body like a car, right? You have when you buy a car, you have a manual how to operate that car, right?
That's right.
Right. So the Most High's laws is a manual to operate your body. You got the dietary law, you got the ceremonial laws, which are the high holy days and all that. And then we got the moral laws, which deal with your mind, like, you know, how are we gonna deal with each other if we don't know how to deal with ourselves? All right, so Zephaniah.
That's right.
So Zephaniah tells us to gather ourselves together. Um, there's another question I wanted to ask. Um, hmm. So let's go back to perpetual, right? So, Brother Isaac, you said it means something that's everlasting, right?
Con.
So that means no matter what happens or where we go, right? So because we got scattered, does that mean that they stopped?
Nope. It's everlasting.
Right. So just because somebody told us different. Does it stop?
Nope. It's everlasting, no matter what.
All right, so good. We got the clear understanding on that. So we should be uh resting up, studying to show thyself approved, right? As the scriptures tell us.
Con.
Soon it'll be camp day.
Huh?
Soon it'll be camp day.
Yep. So yeah, once we start getting more, more how I say, applying the scriptures more, we'll see the benefits from keeping the law. It's all beneficial to the man. He says if the man shall do them, he shall live in them. Right?
Right.
That's right.
So it's very important that, you know, when we come to serve the Lord, we gotta do it right, right? We gotta do it by his will, not our own. And we can't let our own righteousness uh exceed what the law is trying to tell us. You know, just is how they do it now. The Lord said, 7 days, nah, 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 nah. We're gonna do it on the first day. Well, we righteous though.
It's
You see,
foolishness.
yeah, it's not righteousness with God. So if we come and claiming that we want to serve the Most High, we got to do how He says to do it. Can't deviate and make things up. Then we'll just be going off uh, our own hearts. We know by the scripture it says the heart of a man is wicked, the most wicked, right?
Con.
I
It's
know I'm
deceitful.
paraphrasing. Yeah, deceitful above all, right?
That's
So
right.
where can we find that scripture at? That's a good scripture you just brought up. What is that? I think it's in Mark, right?
Let me look for it.
Let's see.
That's Jeremiah 17 or 9.
Doesn't it say it again in Mark too?
All right.
Yeah, it does. Mark 7:21 it says, for from within, out of the heart of men, perceive evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murder, theft, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness, and all these evil things come from within and defile a man. So, like I said, it's when it comes to serving the Most High, He tells you how He wants to be serviced. So, if we do anything of our own mind, we see that we can't really trust it. So if it ain't coming from here, from out of the scriptures, you know, 'cause it's telling us right here, out of the mind of men proceed evil thoughts. So we can't let our thoughts get in the way of what the Most High is actually saying. Fair enough.
Con.
Speak less, learn more.
Um, that too. Well, it's more like if you don't know, just say that. You know what I'm saying? Instead of doing the whole song and dance to get to the realization that you just don't know what it is. Like if you're not studied, you shouldn't really talk again.
Con.
But
People
if you
always
decide,
battling
right,
scripture
right,
against what they don't know.
and they have no idea what's really going on. So if you know, speak up. If you don't, yeah, I would say less and read more. But if you know something,
Speak
speak
up.
your truth.
And this is
Yes,
commanded.
speak your
Speak
truth.
if you know what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
but
Uh-huh.
always be humble in the fact that you might not know everything. So if it comes to a topic that you don't know, don't even fool yourself thinking that, just plainly state that I'm gonna have to check on that because I don't know, you know,
Con.
instead of making yourself look foolish, getting
Word.
put in a trick bag, you don't know what's really going on, or you know. So it's always good to listen, be humble, and then judge the matter.
After.
Instead, instead of you hear one thing and then you're ready to attack. You know what I mean? Give people a chance to explain
Con.
their stuff, and when they can't explain, then you come in with your understanding. Always ask them. So if I'm wrong, you break that down for me and make it make sense. You know what I'm saying?
Con. That's fair. That's fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, we all in it to gain a brother anyway. So there's no point of you know arguing with the brother, if especially if you're not willing to hear his whole cause or what he's trying to say, or vice versa if he's not trying to hear what you're trying to say because they think they know everything.
That's right.
And and how you stop the madness is ask for the ask for a book, chapter, and verse when people are going off, bringing you their own understanding of what it means. So prove it. You got to be able to prove everything that we're saying out of this Bible.
That's right.
So we got time. Let's talk about let's talk about this right here.